Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Mac gaming and the troubles that I have had with it because I have already had a numerous amount of issues with Mac and trying to get games to run on it smoothly. It's fucking bad. Like, there's a reason why barely anybody talks about Mac gaming. Like, it's not unusable. Like, a lot of games work perfectly fine, but the few that don't really work all that well, it sucks trying to troubleshoot and fix it. So, for one, I had a huge headache today with Steam because basically I was trying to download a game. It was downloading very, very slowly for some reason. So I just thought, let's just quit like Steam. And I pressed quit and it didn't quit for a very long time. So I just said force quit. Lesson learned, do not force quit Steam on Mac, like ever. Especially when you're downloading a game. Because guess what? That just caused Steam to brick. Like indefinitely. And not just like, oh, you just have to uninstall and reinstall Steam. No, I had to delete all of my Steam folders, my Steam apps, and my all the cache, all that, and reinstall all of my games. Now, is it that big of a headache? No, this took maybe about 5 hours tops because I really had to only download two really, really big games. The rest are, small indie games because that's what really mainly runs on Mac. So, yeah, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it still, again, is a headache and still just sucked because it was more frustrating just trying to figure out what was causing it. And I still don't know what the issue was, why it wouldn't boot up. I tried reinstalling it several times without like deleting all the folders and stuff. And for some reason, I think it's because it was like clashing with the Steam apps that were already installed. I don't know. But yeah, Steam just like infinitely looped whenever I reinstalled it. So I just had to uninstall everything, every single folder attached to Steam, and then reinstall everything. It was a headache, it was a pain, it sucked. Another thing that was kind of annoying, although wasn't super hard to figure out, was the fact that Mac doesn't have a way to record your desktop audio out of the box. You have to install a third-party like kind of plugin thing and then set it up as a MIDI device and then route that MIDI device as your desktop audio. It's weird. It's called like Black Hole, I think. And I just downloaded that and set it as a MIDI device, as I said, and bada bing, bada boom. It's really not that hard as long as you just find a tutorial for it. But again, it's just weird because maybe it's just because I'm used to it on Windows, but on Windows, it's super easy. There's desktop audio right there. You just record bada bing. I got bada bing, bada boom, you're done. But on Mac, you have to go through all these extra steps. And again, it's not too hard once you just find a tutorial for it. But that's not the only thing you have to like kind of go extra hoops just to go through extra hoops just to figure out what to do. For example, controller support. It's fucking weird. I tried playing Hollow Knight with a Pro Controller, with a Nintendo Switch Pro Controller, and for other games, it works perfectly fine, like with Ultimate Chicken Horse and Super Meat Boy, and even though I don't really like the layout, again, it still works perfectly fine, but with Hollow Knight, for some reason in specific, I'm not sure if it's also the case on Windows, but it would just freak the fuck out. It would just constantly go up and down on the joystick and constantly press A over and over and over again. I don't know why. I tried changing the controller settings. That didn't change anything. I don't know what the problem is with it. It just, again, freaks the hell out. So, yeah, it's weird. Again, I don't know why it doesn't work for that game in specific. It seems to work for other games. I hope it works with Liza P. Another thing that sucks with Hollow Knight is that my save is gone. And I pray to God that it didn't overwrite my cloud save data. I think it didn't because it didn't like save the cloud data automatically, thank God. So I'm hoping that it didn't just overwrite my like previous cloud data where I actually progressed somewhere in the game. With this other cloud data where I haven't progressed a single bit in the game because again, it's like completely going through a fresh restart and I have no save data at all for some reason on Mac, even though again, I already have save data in Hollow Knight. I have a save file where I was through like, I would say maybe 20% of the game or not 20%, but I still got like maybe through one or two of the bosses, which still took a little bit. And again, it would just suck. I hope, again, I'm just hoping that it didn't completely overwrite the cloud data. I don't think it did, because again, it said it had an issue syncing with the cloud. So I just turned off cloud syncing for Hollow Knight because I don't want any chance of it overwriting my data. So yeah, again, that's just another weird quirk that I have experienced with Mac. Another thing is just like constant crashing. I know Mac is very, very easy to use, and it really is, but there are a lot of moments where it will just kind of, where the operating system will just kind of stall. Like whenever I try to like go through Finder, or like whenever I was like trying to reinstall and uninstall Steam a bunch, it like for some reason made everything else, whenever I tried to like force quit an application, just halt in its tracks. Nothing worked. So I had to constantly shut down my Mac over and over and over again. And I know that's not a good thing to do, but again, it just kept freezing. But like, again, I don't know why. This is a pretty decently powerful Mac. Now, this isn't the top of the line Mac, but I have an M3 Pro chip in here, which is pretty good. Now, it is the base M3 Pro MacBook with 18 gigabytes of RAM, and I think 520 gigabytes of, or 512 gigabytes of storage, but still, it's still decently fast for like applications and music making stuff and stuff like that. But again, for games or like heavy application tasks, it can get pretty hot as well. I've noticed when I play like Metro Exodus, the keyboard got very hot. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad I don't like hear the fans like blaring like a bunch of gaming laptops where it sounds like it's a jet engine going off, but it still isn't great. And one last thing that I found weird is that I got a 8-bit do controller, like the Ultimate Pro 2C, because I thought it would work. Because, you know, it's just a generic, like, Xbox layout style controller with Hall effect triggers for, like, $20. So I'm like, okay, let's just go for it. It'll probably work. No, it doesn't work. It's connected and everything. I connected it. It said the driver was on the system. But again, it just didn't work. None of my games work with the 8-bit Do controller, which sucks because, again, I prefer the Xbox layout. The Nintendo Switch layout just kind of sucks. But the problem is that the Nintendo Switch layout just works with more games. Because I have a PS4 controller as well. PS4 controller does not work with like Super Meat Boy and stuff like that because it's a different controller like system, I think. I forgot what the specific term for it is. But just there's a lot more support for Xbox controllers than PlayStation controllers. Let me just say that. So yeah, again, I don't know if this is like a Mac issue, if this is like just a controller issue with Steam, although I would think, again, a generic Xbox style controller that is a pretty popular controller nonetheless would work with Windows. So again, I don't know why it doesn't work with Mac. I know it doesn't technically list, it has Mac support, but even then, again, it's a generic controller. So again, I have just faced several weird quirks with Mac, and honestly, I really want to just I really just want to go home and just game on my Windows system. Like, I really do miss it. I thought, I'll be fine just playing indie games. And yeah, they're cool and all that. And I still need to get into like Baldur's Gate 3 and all that. And don't worry, I'll record that and stuff. So yeah, I can deal with it. But again, I just vastly prefer Windows for everything. Oh my God, that was loud. So yeah, Windows, or not for everything, but for like gaming, especially for gaming, it is like so much goddamn better. And the only thing that I really hate about Windows is the pop-ups, and that's why I do like Mac in some regard as well. It's just there's no pop-ups. Well, there are pop-ups, but it's when you like open applications and stuff. And yeah, that's annoying, but at least it doesn't fucking jam like fucking advertisements in your face like Windows does when you just try to boot up the system. It's so goddamn annoying. I think there might be a way to turn that off. I don't even know though, because I've heard everybody has had a problem with that. So again, I just hate Windows doing that. So again, that's another reason why I like Mac. But again, I've just run into so many problems with running applications, them crashing constantly, and just playing games in general. It's just, I just don't like it, man. I mean, again, it's doable. It's not like the worst thing in the world. It's not the end of the world or anything. Oh, I have to play games on Mac for maybe a few months, maybe more than that. But again, it still just pales in comparison to how good gaming on Windows is. Especially because my computer back at home is way better. So, yeah, that's basically it, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.